It started with a loud knock on my door way too early for a Saturday morning. I opened it to find Karen from the HOA standing there with one of my stickers in her hand, crumpled and torn. "These are an eyesore," she snapped, already walking away before I could even respond. What she didn't know: those ugly stickers she just ripped off my window were actually court-ordered, Yali legally required to be there. And now, thanks to her, I might be in serious trouble. Let me back up a second. A few months ago, I had an issue with a neighbor that got so out of hand it ended up in court. The judge ordered me to display specific warning stickers on parts of my property. Nothing wild, just basic notices tied to a case that's still open. These weren't decoration. They were the law. And every time I looked at them, sure, I didn't love the way they looked. But they gave me a weird kind of peace, knowing I was covered legally. That's where Karen comes in. She's the type of neighbor who thinks the whole neighborhood should look like a catalog. Trimmed lawns, neutral paint, and apparently zero stickers. Karen's been on the HOA board for years, and she treats the rules like gospel, unless they inconvenience her. And when she saw my legally required stickers, she didn't ask questions. She didn't send a notice. She just walked right up to my house and peeled them off, one by one, like she was doing everyone a favor. I caught the whole thing on camera, and when I tried to explain to her what they were for, she rolled her eyes and said, "Well, they're gone now. You're welcome." She truly had no idea that what she just did could land me back in court. Or worse, put her there instead. And that's when things really started to unravel. So there I was standing in my driveway, holding a torn-up court sticker in my hand, trying to figure out how this woman thought it was totally fine to vandalize my property. I called out after her, trying to stay calm, but she just waved her hand like I was the crazy one. "You should be thanking me," she said. Like I was supposed to be grateful. She just made my legal situation worse. Now here's the thing. This wasn't just some random sticker from a hardware store. These were court-ordered notices that came after a long and really frustrating dispute with a previous neighbor who kept violating my property line. After a ton of back and forth, and finally a judge getting involved, I was ordered to post specific warning labels and boundary markers around the edges of my home. The court even gave me a deadline. Miss that deadline or remove the signs and I'd be in violation of a court order, which is not something I take lightly. But Karen? She didn't know any of that. Or maybe she didn't care. She just saw something she thought looked ugly and decided to play neighborhood decorator. And the worst part? This isn't the first time she's overstepped like this. Karen's been kind of the self-declared queen of our block for years. She once left a typed note on someone's door about their off-white curtains clashing with the HOA-approved exterior paint scheme. Another time, she tried to fine a neighbor for having too many pumpkins out for Halloween. People talk, of course, but no one's really pushed back against her until now. Because this time, it's different. She didn't just break some informal neighborhood aesthetic rule. She messed with something that's tied directly to a legal case. And even though I tried to explain it, she wouldn't listen. She just smiled and walked away like she'd won something. But now I'm left wondering, what do I even do next? The court stickers are gone. The deadline is closing in, and the security footage is sitting on my hard drive, waiting. But do I really want to go up against Karen and the entire HOA? That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I shut my eyes, I kept picturing those stickers being peeled off like they meant nothing. My phone buzzed with a reminder. The court compliance check was coming up in 3 days. If the stickers weren't posted clearly, I could be fined or worse. I sat there wondering if I should just put them back up and act like nothing happened. But something about how Karen walked off like she owned the block made me stop. This wasn't just about stickers anymore. It felt like she crossed a line. The next morning, I went to the HOA office to talk things out. I figured maybe someone on the board would understand the legal side of it. But the minute I mentioned Karen, the mood changed. I got a polite but stiff response. "We'll look into it." No one asked what the stickers were for. No one seemed too bothered that a board member had walked onto private property and removed something without permission. It hit me then Karen wasn't just a pushy neighbor. She was the HOA, and that meant getting justice wasn't going to be as easy as filing a complaint. Later that afternoon, I talked to my next-door neighbor, Lisa, who's had her own run-ins with Karen. Turns out Karen once tried to report Lisa for improperly installed shutters after she had hers replaced by a licensed contractor, by the way. Lisa kept quiet about it, not wanting to start drama. But now, hearing what happened with my stickers, she admitted she had footage of Karen snooping around her property too. That's when it started to click. Maybe this wasn't just about appearances or ugly stickers. Maybe Karen had a habit of pushing people just far enough that they backed down. Meanwhile, still holding the court's paperwork in one hand and a flash drive with security footage in the other. Stuck in this weird place between following the rules and standing up for myself. The HOA wasn't going to help. Karen wasn't going to apologize. And the compliance check was now less than 72 hours away. The question was, how far was I willing to take this? By the second day, I was running out of time and patience. Court check was now just over 24 hours away. And the longer I waited to repost those stickers, the riskier things got. But slapping them back up without addressing what Karen did felt like letting her win. And more than that, it didn't fix the real problem. What if she just tore them down again? What if she wanted me to fail the inspection? That night, I reviewed the footage one more time. The camera had caught everything: Karen walking straight up to my window in broad daylight, glancing around, then slowly peeling off each sticker like she had all the time in the world. There was even a moment where she held one up to the sun, squinted at it, then rolled her eyes before tossing it in her bag. It was so smug, so confident, like she knew no one was going to stop her. I clipped the video and saved it to a second flash drive, just in case. Then I printed out a fresh set of the stickers, along with a copy of the court order. If this was going to escalate, I needed to have my ducks in a row. But as I stood there at my printer, I heard something outside: footsteps on gravel. I moved to the window, and, sure enough, there she was again. Karen, holding what looked like her phone and taking pictures of my front yard. This time, she wasn't even sneaky about it. She saw me watching and just stared. No wave, no smile. It's just this long, cold look, like I was the one trespassing on her property. I didn't move. Neither did she. We just stood there, locked in this weird staring contest until she finally turned and walked away. No words, no explanation. That's when it really hit me. This wasn't just about HOA rules or neighborhood aesthetics anymore. Karen was making this personal. And if I didn't act fast, I wasn't just going to lose a fight about some stickers. I could end up with fines, legal problems, maybe worse. Something was coming. I could feel it. The next morning, just when I thought things couldn't get worse, I checked my mailbox and found a formal violation notice from the HOA. It accused me of posting unauthorized signage and displaying disruptive materials not approved by the board. The kicker: it was signed by Karen herself. My jaw actually dropped. She had taken it a step further. Not only had she ripped down legally mandated stickers, but now she was trying to rewrite the story and make me the problem. The timing wasn't random either. The court check was scheduled for the very next day. If I didn't clear the violation or defend it properly, this HOA letter could seriously mess with my legal standing. I couldn't tell if Karen didn't know what she was interfering with, or if she did know and just didn't care. Either way, it felt like she was trying to back me into a corner, just as I was sitting at my kitchen table trying to figure out how to respond. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Lisa, my neighbor. She'd been digging through her older security camera files and found something strange. A clip from a week ago. Karen, again, but this time standing at another neighbor's porch, doing the exact same thing. Bending over, peeling off a small sticker from a mailbox post, and snapping a picture right after. Apparently, that neighbor had installed a no soliciting sign because of repeated door knockers. Harmless, but Karen had called it unwelcoming and removed it. That's when it all started to add up. Karen had been quietly erasing anything she didn't personally approve of. Court orders, safety notices, personal property signs. It didn't matter. If it didn't fit her perfect little HOA fantasy, she made it disappear. And now she was using her position on the board to issue violations and cover her tracks. I felt this mix of anger and disbelief. This wasn't just a neighborhood power trip anymore. This was someone abusing authority, potentially interfering with a legal order and targeting multiple residents. But the craziest part? I still hadn't told the court officer what happened. And now I had just hours left to decide, do I go public with everything or risk being the one blamed? The morning of the sea.